Go ahead, Mommy Mish.
So we all know it's important, and you guys mentioned earlier this sacrificial attitude that we are somehow cultured or groomed to think that we need to sacrifice everything. I think the biggest self-care promise I can make to myself is rest when I'm tired, stop when I'm overwhelmed, pause and process. And when my kids see that too, I think that they learn how to care for themselves as well, right? So it's so important to set the example.
That's so true. I love that. And yeah, I think all of our entries are kind of tied into each other, right? Okay, how about you, Lynn?
So mine is I promise to invest time in nurturing my creativity and sense of wonder. And the reason why I made that pledge is that, women, we're often socialized to be perfect, right? Like the moment we're young, we constantly hear this, girls, you can't get dirty because, you need to be pristine. And then we sort of bring that up as we get older. And the problem with that, I guess that obsession with perfection or that pressure to be perfect is that sometimes we're afraid to try new things if we're not sure we're going to excel at it. So my self-care is actually related because I'm more of a cerebral person. I'm not very good at making things with my hands. Like I remember my sister would do my cross-stitch projects when I was a kid because I'm not very good at it. So for me, it's really trying new things. So making things with my hands. That's why nurturing my creativity and just enjoying the learning process.
Nice. My question is, did your teacher know that it wasn't you who did it?
So, it's obvious, right? Because my sister is 6 years older. So mine turned out to be really nice. And I think I had to repeat that project because, like as a good teacher, you're able to spot.
Oh, grabe naman si teacher. Hindi pa pinagbigyan. That's so funny. I love that anecdote. Okay, how about you, Jill? What's your take on that? I know you already said, I loved your entry, ha? Pasabog. Talagang may baon. Yung sinabi mo, ano yun? Be the power, ano yun? The power behind, ano yun? Can you repeat that line again?
Power behind other people.
Ooh, the power behind other people. And yeah, our hashtag is that, the power to love yourself completely. So can you talk more about this power and how you can incorporate it into your life as a new mama?
As I was saying earlier, I'm expecting a baby in 2 months' time. And for me, it's also not forgetting about your personal needs and being mindful and self-aware. So for me, I'm grateful for what I have every day. You are grateful. You have the positive outlook, and you have the right energy to really do more. So that's changed behavior for me.
Yes, that's so good. I loved all of your entries, and personally, yeah, I love that we're all being more self-aware about how we use our energy and how we use our energy and even make time to do the things we actually want to do. Because sometimes, we have like an endless to-do list for not just our careers, because, of course, yes, self-improvement. Lagi na lang self-improvement. But where does self-love come, right? Like, how will you improve and get to the next level if you don't feel great? So, yun, personally ako rin, just to know, a little chika lang. Ako pa naman, I'm such a neat freak. And I guess, in a way, it's good to be like, hindi naman hygiene freak. But yun, I love, like, taking time to bath and like being super like feeling fresh. And sometimes I really can't be productive if I don't feel fresh, right? And if makalat yung kwarto, like no, I cannot. Like the tiniest detail. But it's being able to, do the little things like that for yourself and making time for yourself as well, and being mindful of the energy that you open yourself to. Sometimes when there are stressful things, it's so easy to react, right? But for me, that's my pledge, like to be more conscious of how I use and give off my energy, because everything is energy. We're all energy. And also by adding fun and joy in everything I do, because sometimes it gets so tired. It's easy to say na, especially now, diba? Like the uncertain times na, oh my gosh, baka magkaka-lockdown again and stuff like that. And like, what? Wait, hold on. Oh, but I guess you just have to remind yourself that, your reality is shaped within your mind. So as long as you take care of that, You're okay. It's okay to feel weak or down sometimes, as long as you know that you're gonna get back up again and be compassionate with your productivity at home. Okay, so yes, I love it. Feeling ko pasok na tayong lahat. Top 4 na to. Top 4. Sino po mag-award? When is the ceremony? Okay, so how about like real talk though? How can we incorporate self-care when we have like an endless, as I mentioned, sometimes we do have so many things to do. And moms pa, diba? As moms, you have even more things to do and more things on your plate. And what if you have a 9 to 5 job pa, even in the new normal? How about you, Mesh?
Yeah, so self-care can be so many things. I think a lot of times the stereotypical cucumbers on the eyes, spa day kind of thing seems like self-care. Self-care for me is actually waking up early enough when everybody is still sleeping and having quiet time for myself. Whether that's, just with my Bible app and my cup of coffee and just quiet, that actually is big for me. If I start my day off that way, I'm starting my day off right.
I actually love my me time too in the morning, but sometimes it gets so extended that, hey, hold on, snap out of it. You also have to, I'm such a free-flowing person that sometimes I need more discipline naman din, but that's also loving yourself, right? A good kind of balance. Okay, so how about you, Lynn? What for you is like your maybe routine, your me time routine? Because for Mish, it's like her Bible app and coffee, which is basically the same for me too, actually. And sunshine, but it's so sad that it's gloomy now, but at least we have cuddle weather. How about you, Lynn?
So I think it's very important to make a distinction between what is self-soothing and what is self-care, right? So self-soothing, yes. So self-soothing are those emergency routines that we do whenever we're feeling bad or we're not having such a good day, basically. And when you talk about self-care, these are the things that you do so that you can build your resilience and emotional agility. So, for example, the cucumbers in your eyes after a long day, right? Or having soup because it's raining, that could be self-soothing because it makes you feel good immediately. But self-care, you're always thinking long-term. I love how the mommies were sharing about how, sometimes you get so guilty about taking care of yourself, right? Because you're thinking of someone else. But just think of self-care as you do it so you don't gas out, right? Like you do it so that it's for you long-term.
Yes.
So my self-soothing would be there, like having soup when it's cold. Like today, I'm excited to have tinola later. But my self-care routine is I always allot time to talk to someone because the investing in that, right? And whether it's a therapist or a very good friend, just making sure that even if we're all separate, I'm still making meaningful connections. To me, that really helps me in terms of making me feel better or, making sure I have a healthy mental well-being, regardless of being in the fact that we're in lockdown.
I love it. And you know what? We really learn from our friends as well. And we are social beings. So being connected like this is also for me such a treat. So I hope to everyone listening right now, watching right now, it feels like a live podcast recording actually. So yeah, speaking of which, I love that you debunked like self-soothing versus self-care. For me, what is self-soothing for me? I think just like stretching and like deep breaths, and yes, also soup and coffee. I like all those. You guys are making me hungry. What else? I think I recently discovered like the tapping here, like when you're stressed out, like you can tap here. And I've been like doing like also here, diba? Kapag hindi makatulog, sometimes here, like you do that and just pressure points. I love it. Tita Janina, hello. And with all like the essential oils, that is my self-soothing. Can you guys relate? Okay. How about you naman? In terms of like that feeling of guilt, let's talk more about that. For you, Jill, ikaw pa naman, how many months naman to go? We have a countdown, diba? So how do you feel about that now that I guess everything is gonna change? Is that right? Everything is gonna change, diba? So are you getting ready for that? And how will you how will you, I guess, prepare yourself to not feel guilty for when you take care of yourself and have a new baby?
I guess for me, because I've been so used to the corporate life, the 5 job, and eating for I feel guilty sometimes, but body more, making sure that for myself, making sure that I set
Boundaries.
and
You're a
also
little choppy. Parang kaming nag-ano, parang game show. We're like, what's she saying? I think it's
Hello?
Yan, yun, dahan-dahan, maybe. I think it's the gloomy weather. Okay lang yan. So,
Yeah,
again, boundaries and
don't feel guilty to say you can handle it.
yes. Oh, I love do not feel guilty. And you mentioned you're from the corporate world, diba? And I think ang dami dito mga corporate ladies then and gents. And you know how sometimes it's like you feel like it takes over your life na. So yun, boundaries is so important. Anything else to add aside from boundaries?
Yeah. Janina, a tip I also within the corporate guide, always block off your time. So
Block off.
Is how it
Yes.
is filled with so much needed, and you have to get the actual work that needs to be done, the presentations, the actual
Yes.
time. What works for me, I block off 2 hours actual work so that I don't work after 5.
Yes. I think that is one great thing kasi I cannot relate kasi hindi ako corporate girl. In a way, I am my own business. So that is one thing I don't have. But at the same time, so for the corporate ladies and gents out there, at least, diba, you can like capitalize on that. Bye. By 5 p.m., bye.
Yeah.
Okay. Because by 5 p.m., I'm still thinking about but at the same time, I feel like it also makes me happy. So, but it's a good reminder to still give myself time to really just relax and not think about, like having a brainstorming session with myself, for a lack of a better term, which happens a lot. And sometimes it gets so
You
much
know
of
what?
your energy, diba?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, even if you own your own time, right? Sometimes because you get so passionate
Yeah.
that you don't always allot time for yourself. So one of the things that we do in the business or in the organization that I run is that we have mental wellness Wednesdays. So every first Wednesday of the month, our job is not to work.
Wow.
That conditions you to really allot time for rest, and because your job is not to work, you're not pressured to answer emails, to send WhatsApp
Yes.
messages. And when my entrepreneur friend heard about it, she decided to implement it for herself, even if she doesn't respond to anyone. And she said it really so it did wonders for her mental health also. So maybe
That
that's
is so-
something
Thank
women
you.
who are not in the corporate world or or entrepreneurs might want to try also.
I need that. Thank you so much. I think we all met for a reason, especially for Lynn and Jill. I haven't really met them in person yet. So thank you for the advice. I'm going to do that. Kailan ulit? Every first Wednesday of the month.
Yes,
Very good
mental
tip.
wellness.
Kasi sometimes, diba, like even in our field, with I have to think of ano kayang next podcast topic ko and stuff like that. But it still takes a lot of your energy from you. Sometimes you just have to not think about that at all. And with that, the full day, you're just gonna play and enjoy and discover, or maybe just rest on your bed. You might even have more good ideas, diba? You gotta unclog the brain. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, start fresh. Okay, so how about applying it? Now we're talking about it, but sometimes it's harder to apply. So what are your application tips for better self-care habits? Go ahead, Mama Mish.
Making a date. I mean, Lynn talked about Wellness Wednesday, like every first Wednesday, committing to it. Jill talked about penciling it in, blocking it off. And if you're a planner and you write down in your planner, or if you put it in your calendar, you Google Calendar. However you do it, for me, I know if I make the time and I commit to it, I'm that much more able to see it through. Of course, things will happen, and things, I have 4 kids, so there's always something happening that might deter me from doing that. But making sure that, okay, even if I can't do it exactly at that time on that day, staying with it and seeing it through. I know that when I do that, I really am a better mom. Like, there are times when it's just too much, and it's like, okay, guys, mommy needs a timeout. So even if I don't get to do the regular.
Oh no, mommy went on